Okay, namaste everyone. Welcome to our virtual new moon circle in Libra, our new supermoon circle in Libra. I am Vina Lene, moon priestess, channeler of the divine, and I'm so excited to be telling you about all of the craziness in the cosmos, everything that's going on right now. So we have a new moon in Libra. We are in sun season Libra. I am a Libra, and maybe that's why I'm feeling so good right now. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio just happened on the 14th. My birthday is October 14th. I was born in a Mercury retrograde. I don't know. I feel like I'm aligned. I'm like, I was born for this moment that we're in right now. And then on top of that, we've got some other planets, and Chiron is in retrograde, the wounded healer. But another one that's really important right now is Mars is in retrograde in Aries. Holy fire, holy air, holy craziness. There's a lot going on. So we're going to start by sealing in our new moon circle, bringing in the 5 elements, and then we'll go a little bit deeper about what's going on tonight. I will touch briefly on both. I'll talk about the Vedic astrology, but first I'm going to talk about the Western tropical zodiac astrology influencing this new moon right now. I'll talk about what it means that we are in a supermoon, and I'll also touch base on both Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde, and we'll end with a tarot reading. I've already pulled the 3 cards. I just pulled them earlier before this transmission, and then I also pulled a card for Mercury retrograde a couple of days ago, and it's like the perfect card for Mercury retrograde. I'm so excited to share that. So thank you for joining, whether you're here live or you're on the replay. If you're here live, please use the chat however you want to use it, whether you want to talk with each other or you want to have any questions or put in any comments. Just use that for you to take advantage of this circle. So let's all start by just taking a deep breath before we bring in these elements. So wherever you are, it doesn't matter how you are seated, standing, lying on the ground, but just take a moment to breathe deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let's do another one. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And just maybe tune into your body for a moment. Close your eyes. Notice if you're holding any tension, and just notice that without judgment, but can you release it? Can you soften? Can you relax? Can you clear your mind? Can you just feel yourself grounded into this present moment right now, letting go of the rest? Just focusing maybe on your breath. And then when you're ready, go ahead and blink your eyes open. So it's always good to ground when we get ready to prepare ritual or ceremony. Just help us to get into the present moment so we're fully focused and aware, and we can really receive, the messages that need to come through to us. I mentioned I'm a channeler of the divine. That's what Vina stands for. It's my spiritual name, and so blessed to have that name. And but what I say in these transmissions, like I don't prepare, I don't make notes for these. Like I just kind of channel what comes through with the knowledge that I've been blessed with and the wisdom that I keep gaining. And it's going to be interpreted different ways. So just trust that there are messages within all of this to be heard by you, and whether it's through my voice or maybe it's through your own inner voice in times of breath and meditation and insight, just be open to that right now, because we're in a really powerful time to be receiving from the other side. So let's start by bringing in our circle with the 5 elements. And this is something that I always do. And you can build your own circle with me, or you can just trust in the energy of the elements I'm bringing in, because we are transmitting through the ether that is always kind of withstands space and time. All of the energies of these elements are coming to you right now, even though you're not here in front of me. And even if you're not live, if you're on the replay, you still get the energy. So I like to start by bringing in the energy of Earth, especially because we're earthly beings having an earthly human experience, right? And we're in the new moon, which is a very strong earthly energy right now. So I have this beautiful carnelian egg, and I'm in love with this. I bought this on my birthday a couple of days ago. I'll get really close with it. So it's so different on both sides, right? Like it speaks Libra to me because it's 2-sided. And then it's got like this beautiful little like cracked imperfection in the center of it. It reminds me a lot of our heart center. that we have to crack open a lot of times, especially in times when we're challenged and really having those human egoic experiences, right? We kind of have to crack our heart open. And it also reminds me of our blood, because the other side is almost so red. It's black, but it is red. And it reminds me of our blood because this is a time of Libra energy. And Libra is harmonious. It's about balance and justice and equality. And we all bleed black and red, right? It's black and then it turns red when it comes out and oxygenates, but we all bleed the same color. And I think that's so important to remember right now. And I've talked about this on other transmissions, but it is something that's coming through from the other side, is that, you know, we're all the same. We all come from the same energy. We all go back to it. We all bleed the same. We're all affected by this lunar energy. We're all grounded to the gravity of this earthly planet. And, you know, we feel so divided right now. And it's a time to not let that division get the best of us, because united we stand and divided we fall, right? It's so true. And so there's a power in numbers, and there's a power in us coming together right now and seeing each other as the same versus so separate. So I just felt really called to bring in this carnelian egg that I just got to bring into this Libra new moon. So we've got this earthly element here really helping us ground in. It's really dense. And then I've also brought in the earthly element of Palo Santo, and we will combine this with the earthly element of fire, and we will bring in the earthly element of smoke or wind. And so we kind of get a 3-for-1 here. I really like working with Palo Santo because it's an energy that is so potent despite being such a dead thing. Palo Santo is usually collected after the trees have been dead for about 7 years or longer. And that's when the resin is prime for its capabilities to cleanse and its spiritual energy. And so it just shows you that, you know, dead things don't always have to just be dead. We can use the dead things to fuel good stuff. You know, we can bring in good energy and good vibes out of those dead things. There can be an alchemy that happens there when we bring in a little spark or a little change, like a fire. So I always smudge our circles and any circle or ritual space that I'm in, just to kind of cleanse the air. We know from science even now that when we smudge, it really does reduce the bacteria and the microbes in the air, but it also energetically cleanses the space. So it'll cleanse out any stuck energy, anything that could be distracting. It could cleanse out any like energetic entities that don't serve in this space right now. And when we cleanse like our ether and our technology, you know, this is going to you as well. And just kind of going to the transmission that we share here, right? Because we're not in the same space, and a lot of things can happen, especially right now, because we're in Mercury retrograde. So we just want to make sure that everything is really clear so those messages can be heard, right? So we also have to bring in the element of water, right? We've used our earth, our air, our fire. We've got water as well. Well, first off, I'm just hydrating. I've got a lot of water. It's really important to be drinking water right now because we are in a lot of air energy and fire energy. So we need to be always hydrating. Also, water helps to take care of our throat chakra, which is super affected during Mercury retrograde. So I have water, but I've brought in extra elements as well. I have brought in some essential oils. We're in a really powerful new moon right now. There's a lot of gravity and a lot of earthly energy. And so I've brought in the energy of peppermint, and it's just basic peppermint oil. I'm actually just going to smell this right now to kind of open my airways. I had like a sinus thing earlier before my previous workshop, and because I had a massage earlier, so everything's kind of draining out. So peppermint, it helps to open our airways and it helps us to breathe deeply. And we're going to talk about the air element tonight a lot. It really helps with the throat chakra. It's blue. It's kind of like a blue oil on the bottle, at least in this case and in most cases. And it makes us think of like cooling energy. We're in a time that we need to be cooling our energy, calming down. Peppermint also helps us with our emotions. And because we had this kind of Mercury retrograde and Scorpio energy, we could be bubbling up some emotions from our past right now. So we just want to make sure we're honoring those with the oil. We also are using peace tonight in our circle. So this is a doTERRA blend. So I use mostly doTERRA oils. I really support their ethical sourcing and how they focus on sustainability and you know, how they work with the, this is something I'm going to send out in an email later on here pretty soon, but doTERRA works with the Healing Hands Foundation, and they work with Operation Underground Railroad and things like that. So they help with like human trafficking and preventing that and rescuing children. And I mean, they do a ton of things. So I just really support their company. And they have this really beautiful blend called Peace. And being a Libra, of course, like I love a blend that's called Peace. And we really need that right now, right? Like we need inner peace, we need outer peace, we need social peace, we need justice. So this blend is really beautiful. It has a couple of different things in it, but it has ylang-ylang in it. So if you didn't have the peace blend from doTERRA, or you couldn't get your hands on anything like that, you could also just work with ylang-ylang right now, because ylang-ylang works with the heart. We're talking about that today, but also ylang-ylang is a 2-word oil, right? 2-word plant. It represents balance and harmony. It's a harmonizing oil. It works with your circulation. It also helps with your energy. So if you're feeling low energy, it'll kind of boost your energy in a calming way. It'll also help you to relax if you just need to calm down. So it kind of brings you into that equanimity, which is a great energy to have right now with the new moon in Libra. So with this one, this is already pre-diluted because it's in a roller. So I'm just going to kind of roll that on my pulse point. So that's activating right at my heart chakra, and it helps with my circulation. And it just kind of brings in that essence into our circle tonight. Okay, so those are those 4 earthly elements. And then I already mentioned the 5th element, and it's the ether. It's this power of communication that we're using right now to join up in circle with. And as I mentioned, it's a magical thing because it withstands space and time. So even if you're tuning into the replay, you're still going to get all of the beautiful energy that this transmission has to offer. So with that, I'm just going to take a deep breath overhead, just like the big moon above us, big old circle. And then exhaling down to my heart, making sure that I'm channeling and speaking through this space tonight. And our circle is sealed. So I'm just curious, feel free to put it in the chat. Let me know how you are feeling with this new moon. Are you vibing with the Libra energy? Are you feeling Mercury retrograde? You know, how are you feeling right now? Because it's a little crazy. I think that we will start with the Mercury retrograde because I think that it's important to talk about. It just happened a couple of days ago. Mercury kind of stationed on the 13th, started going direct on the 14th, and Mercury will be direct until November 3rd, the day of our election. in North America, if you're in North America. Some of you are not, but many of us are impacted no matter where you are in the world. As I learned when I lived in Canada, they were very concerned about American elections because it impacts them, right? America is kind of a big country. So yes, we have this planet of communication. Mercury is the Greek messenger to the gods, right? Planet of communication. And he's going backwards right now. And that means that our communication is going backwards right now, and just nothing makes sense, right? Like you might have conversations with people where just like your point doesn't get across, or like that's not what you meant, they interpret it a different way, or vice versa. You do that to somebody else. You might be easily triggered during this time because it things that people say to you or things that you come across might bring up things from the past. The past is something that comes up in this backward energy. So messages from the past, wisdom and knowledge we can gain from the past, people from our past. Christine, I don't know if you put it on in the chat on this one, but I know you mentioned in the workshop that everybody had been contacting you like today, right? Calling you. So this is a time when people from your past will just like rise up out of the surface. And I'm going to talk about this because I don't think this person will, I don't think this person will watch the transmission. Oh my God, I'm laughing. So my birthday was a couple of days ago. And you know, if you're on Facebook, like you get so many messages from people that like you don't even talk to, like people that you haven't really talked to in a long time that send you these messages. But then out of that, I've like there's been a conversation of, it started with a happy birthday, but now it's just kept going with this person that like I don't like, I was never really like strong friends with. Like I knew that person and I had an acquaintance with them, but I was never really strong friends with them. And they're just like in this deep conversation with me all of a sudden. And I just think that's kind of funny because it's so Mercury retrograde and it's like in an unexpected way, because a lot of times this is a time when your exes will rise up to the surface. So your ex lovers, your ex partners will rise up to the surface as well. So it's just a time when people we know can come up to contact us. A lot of times there's a reason for that. If you are maybe just all of a sudden finding things that remind you of lost loved ones as well, this is a time when your ancestors will also try to contact you. So people that have passed, that have been in your life, this is a very magical time when they can come through as well. So that's kind of cool. But it's just a time when communication can be a little weird or kind of like not the normal. Okay. So if you normally, communicate voice to voice, that could be a little messed up right now. If you normally use a lot of technology, that's going to be messed up right now too. It comes down to a little bit of what happens in actual space. This is like actual real physics. When Mercury passes by Earth, that's what a retrograde is. Its orbit is smaller than Earth. So Mercury passes by Earth like 3 to 4 times a year. And when it passes by, it looks like it slows down and spins backwards before it goes off again. And when that happens, when that planet actually passes by our orbit, it actually affects our orbit. Kind of leaves us in a cosmic cloud of dust is the way I always describe it. But it can affect our weather patterns. And did you notice, especially, I don't know about other places, but here in the Midwest, it was incredibly windy a couple of days ago when Mercury went retrograde. And there's been a real shift in the weather in the past couple of days. We've gotten really cold. There's a frost moving in. So it's a time when our weather patterns can be affected. It's also a time when the satellites, because we're just surrounded by satellites, right, in our orbit. So our satellites get affected, and this can affect our technology, which means that it can affect the way that you communicate with technology. It can mean your internet can be messed up as well. If you are traveling right now, you want to have a lot of patience because it's a time when logistics can get a little off. Your ships can be a little bit off on their radar, or planes can get off. So it's a time when there can be a lot of travel delays as well. So just know that those things can happen. It can be expected during a retrograde. Because communication is not great right now and things can be misunderstood, it's not a good time to like go into business ventures, to go into like contracts with people, to like sign any sort of contract, actually to make big purchases. You don't want to make big purchases right now because you might have buyer's remorse, because it's a time when things are just like not as they seem. Especially technology, like don't buy a computer, don't buy a new phone, try not to buy big things like a house, a car, a boat, etc. Just all of that, it just might not work, or you might have buyer's remorse, just things might not work out. So just be aware of those things as well. Now, we have to consider that Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of the underworld. It's kind of the sign of like the darkness and the magic. It's life, death, rebirth. So this is a time where you might be feeling like you are really beginning again, or you are being reborn. You might feel like you're starting over right now. You might feel like you've learned the lesson and you're shifting and evolving right now, because Scorpio is an evolutionary sign as well. We'll talk more about this when we talk about like new moon in Scorpio. But because it represents this underworld, it represents a bit of the magic right now. So it's the light magic. It's the magic of the other side of the veil that supports our energy, right? So all of the, what I call the energetic entities that can be reaching us right now, like whatever speaks to you or whoever speaks to you, I don't even want to call it a who, because it's more of a what, but whatever speaks to you right now, that could be coming through really strongly during this Mercury retrograde. So for the next 3 weeks, you might get messages from your lost loved ones, from ancestors, from your angels, from your spirit guides, spirit animals, whatever you speak to. And if you're on my email list, you'll be hearing what's been speaking to me in the past week as well. But also know it's that dark magic, right? Because there's a balance of the light and the dark. So there's dark magic that's going to be coming through right now. It's not a good time to be convinced by others, or to be doing a lot of research, or to be like seeking out answers through the external, because there's a lot of deception that's going on right now. And especially because of the political times, just because of modern times, there's a lot of deception that can happen right now in the external when it comes to our media and it comes to our resources. So it's just not a good time to be going out into that world. If you're looking for answers, if you're looking for guidance on anything right now, it's a really good time to look within, because this is kind of my own lesson that I've learned throughout life. And I'm even still learning it, but I'm going to pass it through because I know it's true for everyone, that everything you seek to know, it's within you. The answer is within you. And sometimes it just takes that confirmation. Like in my own experiences, I'm like, I must go get this certification and have a teacher teach me this thing that I'm interested in. And then I go and I get the certification, or I do the training. And it's like, well, heck, I already knew a lot of that, just like from my inner beings. It's that trust, right? That we know what's inside. So this is a time to be doing that. I've encouraged, if you're in North America, if you're voting, I encourage you to vote now, vote early. Don't wait. Don't let this all like try to convince you otherwise of your inner truth, because things can be very confusing right now and very overwhelming with the information that's going on right now. Not just politically, but if it's election related, just get your vote out now and get it done so that you don't have to worry about that. But just in general, any decisions you're trying to make right now, as far as like where you go from here, or how's next year going to look, or whatever, you really need to be tuning within to get those next steps versus like having others make those answers for you. And I think that's all we're going to talk about when it comes to Mercury retrograde. But just take care of your throat chakra right now. More times of silence versus talking. Yeah, actually nourish your throat chakra. Drink a lot of water. Have soups and broths. I had tortilla soup tonight, just that nice warm broth. Make sure that you're chanting or singing or vibrating your throat chakra in a positive way versus in conflict or argument or negativity. And if you need to filter it through, go to writing instead of speaking, if that really helps you move your energy forward. Okay, I'm going to grab a drink really quick, and I want to look at this chat, and then we're going to talk more about the moon. Oh, cool. So Risha said she lit a peppermint eucalyptus candle for our circle today. Yeah, that peppermint energy is good right now. And things seem so intense, Christine. Yes, they do. And so we'll talk a little bit more about why they're so intense right now in just a moment. Risha, I had challenges with my team this week, felt that everything that I coached them on and they were progressing, but they regressed. Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to like get your message across right now, right? So things are a little intense, Christine, because we also have Mars retrograde in Aries happening right now. And I've written a little bit about this as well. You can go back into my website and click on astrology and, or no, where did I write about it? I think I just wrote about it on my social media. I did, but you can read about it there if you go back a few posts from Mars retrograde. But Mars is the planet of war and fire. Aries is the sign of war and fire. It's the god of war. So we have a planet of war with the god of war, and we're just got a lot of tension, a lot of fire. And then you add in the air aspect of Mercury, which is like this air planet. And then you have Libra, which is an air sign. What does air do to fire? It makes it combust, right? It makes the fire grow. So we've been kind of fanning the flames cosmically, and that's why things are getting so intense. And then bring it into the earth, right? Like bring it into our human perspective. And we have all this fire, right? Heightened energy, a lot of anger right now, a lot of opinions and heightened energy. And then we add in our air, our voice, our words, the ether, our throat chakra. We're writing and arguing on social media, we're getting into those conflicts, and it's just fanning the flames. So it's just not helping all the energy around us right now if we're leaning into all of that. So it's a good time to cool down and to kind of relax our energy, or to really move things through the heart. And so that's why I'm kind of talking about that tonight. so we've had this heightened energy, we've had this Mars retrograde, we've had all this fire energy and air energy, but we do have the new moon in Libra. And Libra is all about balance. She's symbolized by the scales. She wants peace. She wants justice. She wants equality. She wants everybody to be happy and sunshine and rainbows. And Libras love all the colors of the rainbow. If you're a Libra, you know, I'm a Libra, so I'm claiming it. But it's just, we just want it all to be just all good. It's all good, man. It's all good vibes. Can't we all just get along? And so like, that's the energy that's finally coming in right now. And it's such a heart energy. Libras have such big hearts. I'm not saying that about myself. I'm saying in general, they have such big hearts. And it's just a big hearted energy because they want this truth and fairness for all. So it is a time for us to start moving from our heart rather than our head that makes us crazy, full of all of this information that's just so much we can't even process anymore day to day, right? And instead of moving out of our throats even, we need to filter it through our heart first. So when we are speaking in conversation with people that, you know, maybe we don't agree with, we need to find ways to agree to disagree right now and not really go any further. If it's a time of, you know, being on the internet and you're moving that energy through your hands, through your heart chakra, through your hands, and you're writing, it needs to be with love and compassion and empathy. You know, the best way to get your message across to somebody is to pull at their heartstrings, right? So, you know, if you have these causes that you stand for and these messages that you want to go that you want to get out there and reach the world, then you need to be moving through personal story and, you know, very compassionately, so that people can feel like they're equal to you, right? They're on the same level as you, really bringing in that Libra energy to bring about understanding. Libra is a peacemaker. And so this new moon right now in Libra is asking us to figure out where we can create our own peace. You know, how can we set aside the conflict or set up boundaries? You know, this is a new lunar cycle, so you can set a lot of intentions and goals, but that also means that you can set up boundaries if you need to. But it's a time to really figure out where you need to make more shifts to feel peace, to feel balance. So if you're feeling out of alignment right now, if you're feeling off with your energy, if you're sick, you know, if anything's going on with you right now that's just not your normal, it's just a sign that you need to figure out how to find balance again. So ask yourself where you're feeling stressed, you know, where are you meeting things with resistance? What things don't make you happy? Think that Libra sunshine rainbow energy, right? What's stealing your joy? Those are the things that we kind of need to set aside for right now. And then as we move forward, don't let those things influence us anymore. Let me check this chat really quick, and then I'm going to talk about the Vedic astrology as well. Oh, you're a Libra rising and a Libra moon. Holy cow, Christine. I love it. You know what? That's why you're so interested in all this astrology and moon stuff too. It's all that air. It's the air in your emotions that you're trying to understand. And then it's the air in your sun sign too. Or sorry, your rising sign, which is your rising sign is what you're like trying to achieve in this life, right? So you're trying to really work on balance, I'm sure. I am a Leo rising and I am a Capricorn moon. So you can take that however you want. Okay, so let's talk quickly about the Vedic side of things because it always aligns as well. In the Vedic astrology right now, we are in the Chitra Nakshatra. So with Vedic astrology, the moon falls into different constellations as well, different like lunar mansions. And this is the lunar mansion of Chitra Nakshatra. And Chitra it's represented by kind of this very auspicious star in the cosmos. It's one of the brightest stars, actually. And it is represented by a jewel that comes about after an immense amount of like heat and pressure. So you could think about a diamond if you wanted to think about it that way. You know, think about a diamond when you think about that diamond in the sky as a bright star. But a diamond takes a lot of pressure in the darkness, right? A lot of dirt, a lot of darkness, a lot of pressure, a lot of time, right? A lot of patience. And then we get that diamond. And Chitra is the star of truth. It's kind of the star of like clairvoyancy or inner knowing. And so it's kind of telling us that, our own light comes from inside, right? From in this darkness. Like that's where it shines out from. When we turn within and we trust that, we'll find that jewel within our heart that helps to guide us or shines forth. Know that there is kind of a jewel of a situation going on in our world right now, right? Like we're under an immense amount of heat. We're under an immense amount of pressure right now, just with the energy that's going on with all this change in our world. And we're globally shifting right now we're shifting out of darkness and we're moving into golden light. But with that, there's a lot of pressure. And so our whole world is kind of this gemstone or this crystal that is forming right now. And this new moon in Libra, the last time we experienced a moon with Libra's influence was the full moon in Libra 6 months ago. And that was right about the time that we were shutting things down with COVID globally. Like everything was shutting down. And so, we shut down, we went into the darkness, we put about an immense amount of pressure, and now things are kind of coming out of that and resurfacing. But this comes with your own truth as well. So the more you turn within, the more that you put your energy into this darkness of unknowing and uncertainty, the more that you compact your energy into the center of your heart, that's when that diamond will start to form and shine through. And, the diamond is the wisdom, right? It's our inner truth, this thing I told you about. You already know everything you need to seek, right? But we have to discover it and we have to mine it out. And, it's there, but we have to find it. So I think it's really interesting that this new moon in Chitra Nakshatra is falling where it is, because it's reminding us, we're moving into darker times. We're moving into winter, it's getting darker. Summer is over. We're changing our energy. We're going to go to Scorpio energy soon in the Western zodiac, but it's a time where we're going into more of that darkness, and we're going to have to find more of our inner truth and inner light. And especially over these next few weeks with this Mercury retrograde as well, the rest of Libra season, it's all kind of a time of more darkness. So find your inner truth inside. In Hindu tradition, Hindus are also starting to celebrate Navaratri tomorrow. So this new moon signifies the pause. And then for the next 9 waxing days of the moon, or the next 9 days of the moon, where the energy starts to get larger and larger, the light gets bigger and bigger, we represent the different incarnations of the goddess of Durga. So this is a time in the eastern side of the world that this new moon is, kind of representing the beauty that can come out of the darkness, right? So there's this, it's a long story, you can look it up, but there's this demon and it's unstoppable, and the gods cannot stop it. And so this goddess Kali is created, right? And Kali comes and destroys the demon, but Kali is just one incarnation of the goddess. And then we have beyond that, once this demon is destroyed, then there are these other incarnations, and we have like Parvati and Saraswati and all these other beautiful goddesses. So it's a time of the divine feminine. And it's a really beautiful time over this next few days of the moon and the new moon energy to celebrate that divine feminine energy. So a lot of times women bleed with new moons, or they used to in their most natural times. It's a time, the new moon, when a woman does bleed, it's a representation of her personal new moon. So this is just a really powerful time for creation, and whether that be for fertility or whether that's just creation in general, this is a potent time for us to be kind of manifesting our dream life and our intentions and all the things that we want to come true. And maybe everything that was a disappointment over this past year, take that as fuel, take all that darkness and turn it into light, and find the balance and let it fuel you with new dreams that you can trust and believe will come true. So that's kind of what's going on in the Vedic side of things and in the Eastern side of the world. Just know that this is a time that even though we have this darkness, there's still so much light inside. I always think about pregnancy, now that I'm a mom myself as well, so much life grows on the inside in the darkness, and you have no control over it, right? It's just happening. And that's kind of the energy that we're in right now. And in the new moon time, like, we trust that there's this life and this energy coming in the darkness. Like, we don't panic every 30 days when it's dark outside. You know, we don't freak out and think, oh my God, it's going to be dark forever, we're never going to see light again. No, like, we trust that that light's going to come back, and eventually there'll be a full moon, and it'll just keep on going. So, you know, as the same, we are in these cycles of creation and letting go and death, life, rebirth, and it's all kind of playing in together right now. So let this really fuel you, to inspire you to continue to dream in this darkness and this uncertainty, and start to create the true life that you really want to create. Okay, so we talked about Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, we talked about Libra energy, we talked about Chitra energy, Navaratri. What else? I think that's it for the most part. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have anything that's coming through that you would like to share. I'm going to grab a drink of water and just slow down and make sure I have everything that's coming through. As I'm drinking that water, it's just this like, trust your magic, trust your magic, trust your magic. So I guess that's what I'm going to pass on from the universe. Trust your magic, right? The new moon is a representation of the dark womb, the womb where all creation can form. And you could think about it as the black hole of the universe. The black hole looks black. It looks empty, but it's full of everything that it's sucking in, right? It's bringing all of this energy into it. So, you know, don't be deceived by the darkness, and don't let it discourage you. Let yourself just kind of trust that there's a lot forming there that you just can't see or can't notice yet. I'm going to check the chat, and then I'm going to share our tarot reading. If we have time, we'll do a little bit of an exercise as well. I just want to honor your time. Okay, we're good so far. Okay, I always try to keep these right at an hour if I can. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to share the tarot cards that I pulled, and then we'll do our little practice if we have time for it. Just taking a moment to pause, connecting to this other side, letting the cards speak whatever messages they need to speak to us in this circle, helping to guide us as we move forward into this lunar cycle. Okay, tribe. So I pulled 4 cards tonight. I pulled 3. Well, I lied. I pulled 3 cards for tonight for our moon circle. And then I pulled a card a couple of days ago for Mercury retrograde, and I've just been waiting to share it. So I'm going to start with the Mercury retrograde card because I think it is just so appropriate. We have the Hanged Man. And I laughed when I pulled this card. So the Hanged Man, he's hanging out, right? He's hung by the tree. And a lot of times this can be misinterpreted as like the Hanged Man, right? Like a lot of times it has the noose, like an actual hanged man. But this is not the death card, okay? The death card comes next. This is the Hanged Man. So this is different. This is a bit of the underworld, the upside down. Who watches Stranger Things? I haven't watched the new season. It's gotten a little too crazy for me. But it's the upside down. It's things are not what they seem, okay? And he's even got Neptune. He's got the sign for Neptune there, and that's the planet of illusion, right? We have this number 12, and 12 is a very like spiritual number, you know, 12 disciples, 12 months in a year, you know, 12 is a very like auspicious number. It can represent salvation as well. So the Hanged Man in this card in our tarot reading for Mercury retrograde, it's reminding us to just notice that things are not what they seem. Things are not what they appear at first. And we really need to be mindful of that as we're moving forward. I also love that it's a green card because green is our heart chakra. And he's even, he's got these kind of bluish pants on, and blue is throat chakra. Okay. And the throat chakra is tied up. Like, I love how these cards align, but the throat chakra is tied up in a branch right now. It's all tangled. It's all clogged up. And that's Mercury. Our communication is clogged up right now. But look at what he's wearing. He's wearing this red jacket, and that's our root chakra. So that's our foundation. So he's cool, calm, and collected. Like, he don't even care that he's upside down and things are all crazy. He's all good because he's living from his truth and his inner knowing, and he's living out of his heart. He's letting his heart energy surround him, and he's learning to breathe through it. We've got this beautiful tree with the leaves, and that represents the air that we breathe, right? They give off this oxygen. So he's just breathing it in, and he's all good. So Mercury retrograde is what you make of it. Okay. It can be all good. I was born in one. So I'm just like, yeah, Mercury retrograde. Woo. You know, I do that every little Mercury retrograde. I have a little party. So I'm like, I was born in one. Let's go. But even if you weren't born in one, you can still interpret it as maybe an excuse to calm down, turn within, take care of yourself, make some yummy soups, you know, have some good smoothies, whatever, enjoy some hot tea, take some deep breaths, meditate. Or you could be like, holy crap, my life is turned upside down and everything is crazy and nothing is going to work out. Okay. So even myself, I've been dealing with some tech stuff, like unexpected, weird tech stuff, not working out. Even in my previous workshop, like my video's been all weird on Zoom. That could be like, okay, that's it. Things aren't working out, whatever, but I'm just going to roll with it. You know, it's fine. It's all good. This is just the way things are right now. The other thing I love about the Hanged Man card in particular is it does represent like hanging around and waiting to finalize contracts, hanging around and waiting to decide to make that big purchase, hanging around and waiting on that, like, you know, inspiration to move forward with that business or that creative venture, hanging around, waiting on an answer, hanging around, waiting on other people. This is all going to happen right now, Mercury retrograde. It always does. So just be patient and know that it's going to last, you know, about 3 weeks, and then it'll be over, and then things will get a little bit easier from there. Okay. Quick note, if you're in North America, we talked about the election. Mercury retrograde will not end until November 3rd/4th is when things start to move forward. Okay. And we're probably going to be hanging around waiting on results. I hate to break it to you, but I'm sorry. I was even talking about this earlier with somebody. Like, everything astrologically is saying that we are probably going to have some issues with the election in the United States. The last time Mercury went direct on an election day was 2000 with the whole Gore Bush thing and the recount in Florida and the states that, you know, we weren't sure about the numbers. And so I can only imagine that things are going to go a little crazy. So be patient, just send your vote in now and trust, and just like deep breaths until we figure out the answer. But just to let you know about that. Okay, so let's talk about the other 3 cards I pulled for the moon. So I always pull a past, present, and future card just for a little bit of wisdom and guidance and what things are going, where we are, and like where things are going to go from here. The past card I pulled was the Sun. It's one of my favorite cards, the Sun. So we just moved out of summer, right? And we've moved into fall. There's also just a heavy sun influence right now because the sun and the moon are both in Libra right now. So we have a really strong, like, sunshine and rainbows. I just thought about that. So that's the energy we have coming through. But because this is the past card, I want to mention that we've got these children here, right here. And there's a wall behind them. Okay. So this is showing us that these children are protected. When we think of us all being children of the universe, all being brothers and sisters of this universe, we're very protected in this transition right now. We're very protected throughout all that's been going on right now. And this is something that's been coming through with Reiki sessions with people with me. It's been coming through in channelings and moon circles and all kinds of stuff. But it's just like, the entities, they want us to know that we're protected. Like, the angels are here and they're protecting us, and, you know, the light givers and the ascended masters and your ancestors and your loved ones. And like, it's just all here, and it's protecting us through this really, really confusing, shifting time. And we feel like children right now, right? Like, we feel lost. We feel confused. We feel out of control. We feel like we like can't live our adult lives the way that we want to. Like we're throwing little tantrums because we can't go outside, we can't go on vacation, right? Like for real, like we're really affected in our solar plexus right now. Like our joy has been affected in the past like 6 months, 9 months with this whole worldly shift that we're going on. But just know that it's all good, and that it's just kind of an adjustment that we're making right now. The card itself has the number 19, and I just look at that as a master number of like 1, because 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So it's a signifying of a new beginning, right? We've been in a new beginning. We're making a shift into the golden age of light. I think I've said it like every moon circle. We're making a shift out of the darkness into the golden age of light. So sun card for our past card. For our present card, I pulled the 10 of Swords. It's October, number 10, and we pulled it for our present card. And there's a whole bunch of swords on there, right? And swords are always a sign of like cutting and letting go. And a lot of times we pull swords with full moons because that's a time of letting go, but new moons are a time of starting over, right? And again, we can bring in this 1 energy. The 10 is 1 master number. So again, we're just being reminded in this present moment that we're still in this new beginning. I know we're getting impatient, but we're still in the shift. It's going to take some time. We've got to be patient, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, whatever analogy you want to learn, right? Like it's going to take time for us to make this shift. So the 10 of Swords specifically, it's going to represent you really letting go of your past, really letting go of the things that no longer serve you. It's time for you to make a shift now into your new beginnings, that, you know, you need to be using each of these new moons, but especially this one, to be making the changes towards your intentions, your dreams, your 5D reality. You know, you have the ability to create it. So give yourself permission to, and trust in that. The red square is root chakra again. So thinking about your foundation, you know, really making sure that you've got stability right now. You know, this Libra energy with the new moon in Libra, we're being reminded to take care of like our home spaces, our sanctuaries, you know, any place that we need to have balance, even like maybe your office or your workspaces, making sure that everything is really cleansed and clear and balanced. And then also we have the pink surrounding this card, and the pink is the heart chakra as well. The heart chakra is either pink or green. It has 2 colors. And so again, we're just being reminded that as we are in this present moment, this time of a lot of confusion and change and shifts, that we just need to keep believing in our heart that we're going to be okay, and that it's all for a new beginning. That's going to be a really good thing. It's for our greater good. Okay, I'm going to grab a drink because my throat's dry. Speaking of throat chakra. Okay. And then for our future card, we have the 5 of Pentacles. And I've actually pulled this as a future card before, and I can't remember which moon circle it's in, but if you go through my tarot readings on my website, you'll probably find it. The 5 of Pentacles always represent prosperity. So it's all good. We're moving into that golden age of light, right? We can see it. It's interesting that we have the number 5, because 5 months from now will be kind of at that 1-year mark when everything kind of shut down. So I think it's interesting that we're looking at like wrapping up this year and wrapping up this future so that we can move forward into a more prosperous time. Yellow is joy. It's joy. It's solar plexus, right? So we kind of bookended our reading with yellow. So we're just kind of being reminded that things are all good still. Things are sunshine and rainbows. We have orange on this card as well. And orange is your sacral chakra, which is your creative womb space. And I say womb space, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. You still have a creative womb space. We all have sacral chakras, no matter how you identify as gender or not. The sacral chakra is where all of our water energy is. And so it's interesting because we're moving into Scorpio season. On the 23rd, 24th of October, we'll shift to Scorpio. Mercury retrograde will still be in Scorpio as well. And that brings in a lot of water energy, and Scorpio is a very magical water energy, and it's really a time we're being reminded, and I just wrote about this earlier even before I pulled this card, but we're in a time of creation and manifestation even though it seems like we're not. And we're actually, these next, like I would say these next like 2 months are going to be some of the most potent times for us to co-create our reality and for us to be fertile with our energy and to manifest what we want. It's a time, and I'm not going to say that it's going to show up right away, but it's, and I'll talk about that with this card because this card's reminding us of that. It might not necessarily show up right away, but it's going to show up shortly after. But you've got to keep putting your energy and your intentions and your focus like into that belief and into that trust. I always say, like, put your order into the universe and believe in it and act on it in baby steps, and eventually it's going to come to you. So the Five of Pentacles represent abundance. The Five of Pentacles, in a way, represents lack and loss, okay? But not in the way you seem, or in the way you think. I got tongue-tied there. Not in the way you think, because it's more like it seems like you are at a loss. It seems like you are in lack. It seems like you are failing, that you do not have enough, that nothing is going to work out, that everything is going to fall apart from here. How can you move on from this point? It's going to seem like that. It might even seem like everything is falling apart, everything. But this Five of Pentacles is showing you that it's like a breaking down before the building up, and it's okay, and it's for your greater good, and things are not as they seem, and you are actually so abundant, and there's so much coming to you. You've just got to hold the faith in it, and you've got to keep up your creative energy. So if you're feeling stuck right now in your dreams, in your intentions, and the things that you are trying to create in your reality, you need to just get creative, and you need to get creative in your joy. This is like my programs about manifestation 101, but it's about just letting your energy flow in that way. And then the other stuff just comes with it magnetically. So when you create out of your sacral chakra, like I know Christine talked about, I think it was Christine said she got artistic today, or she started a new creative artistic project. Remind me, Christine, if that's right, if you're still here. Yeah, we need to put our energy into just like creative stuff. So if you like to color or paint or sing or write or just whatever, if you like to cook in the kitchen, if you like to blend essential oils, if you like to take photos, whatever you like to create and do. Yeah, she's still here. Perfect. Everything you like to create and do that just makes you happy and brings you joy, like that's what you need to do moving forward. And it's especially what you need to do when you're feeling a little lost and stuck, because out of it, other things will come. And I actually want to take note. I want to go backwards just a little bit on Mercury retrograde, really, really briefly, because this is the time, Mercury retrograde is a time of slowing down, right? It's a time of like tuning within and like understanding that things are not as they seem. But it's also a time of like shifting your perspective, right? Like the Hanged Man, where'd he go? He's upside down, right? Like he's shifting his perspective. And so this is a time to shift your perspective in like how you do things and how you operate, because it might help you in a good way, and you might actually benefit from it. So in my own personal journey, like I have a lot I'm doing in the ether right now, a lot online, just because of the shift we've made on this planet. And because of that, I spend a lot of time like filming and editing and uploading and downloading. And like I have a process, because as a Libra, I have to have a way of doing things to make it easy, especially with technology. But I recently just like took a couple of days off around my birthday. And this was actually for last weekend, because my birthday was in the middle of the week. So last weekend I took a couple of days off and I just didn't work and I didn't do any of my stuff. And I just had this like aha moment that if I did one thing backwards, if I flipped one thing in the way that I did my filming and my editing and my audio and just all my narrations and all of that, that I would become like 3 times more efficient. And it's like something I never even thought about, because I was so laser freaking focused on just like doing the work and getting it done. This is the way I do it, and this is how I've been doing it, and that's what works, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, like now I have this time-saving moment that I just like ahaed into my brain, because I actually took time to slow down and take time off from work, okay? So I just want you to know that when you're when you're feeling stuck, you can take time off and do other things, and you'll have these divine inspirations. But also just know, like during this particular time with Mercury retrograde, take time to slow down and see if you can like do things differently, because you might have like an inspiration, and it might be coming through from a spirit guide or something, right? But it's just letting you know that you can do something differently, and it's going to benefit you and help you like navigate this time a little bit easier. Okay. So we have, just to recap, Hanged Man. Nothing is as it seems. You're going to be waiting around for a lot of things during this Mercury retrograde until about November 3rd or 4th, or slightly after, till Mercury moves forward. As far as our past goes, we're protected. It's all sunshine and rainbows, promise. It's all good. We just have to believe in that. We've got the number 10. We're starting over. It's a new beginning. Live out of our joy with it all. The 10 of Swords for our present cards. So again, we're in this new chapter. Let go of what no longer serves. Slice it away with that Kali sword. I love that. I just thought about that. So we're getting ready to start Navaratri tomorrow. And Kali, she's got that sword that she slays with. And so that's so appropriate that we're aligning that with the present card. And then also the 5 of Pentacles for our future card, reminding us that things might appear that they're lack or loss or not going to work out, but they actually are, and things are all good. And we just have to keep moving forward and stay positive and live in our creative energy and trust in that ability to create our own reality. Okay, loves, that is it. I'm going to take a drink of water, and then we'll do a few, just a few rounds of breath together, actually, and then we're going to seal things up. And I'll check that chat as well. Okay, so we're going to practice just a little bit of breath work. I actually do not have the time because my computer died. Oh, it's 8:02. Okay, perfect. So this is only going to last just a few minutes. We're going to do a little bit of breath work just to balance ourselves out, reground, come back into this present moment. And this breath work practice is on my YouTube, and it is called Sama Vritti Pranayama. This is equal thoughts breath work, and it just helps us to kind of align with this Libra energy. It helps to harmonize us. So I mentioned the ylang ylang, right, is a harmonizing oil, and it helps you to feel that equanimity in your energy, and this breath work can do the same. So we'll be introducing a balance of our inhales and exhales to help calm our mind. And this works because we can't multitask like as much as we want to. Our mind can't really do that. So if we're thinking about our breath and how to control it, we're not really thinking about all the other distracting things, right? So in the chat, sorry, I got an itchy nose there. I do have a lot of energy. Thank you, Risha. I do have a lot of energy. It's feeling good. And you know what? Talking about co-creating our reality, hopefully my husband's cool with my child downstairs. I'll go a little longer tonight. But, it's something that I've really worked on. And I think if you follow my story, some of you have, it's taken me a long time to get here. But one of the things that just makes me so happy right now, like as it's my birthday, and I've just been kind of taking harvest since the harvest moon. I've been like really reflecting on everything that's come forward, and I feel so blessed that I get to do this for like a living, right? Like this is what I do professionally now, and this was a dream. And I wrote about this in my recent blog, and I've got part 2 coming up probably on day 4 of the lunar cycle here. But I once had a dream that I could just like have like holidays off and spend more time with my family. I just like wanted to like not work in my corporate job and have more time off. And then like that came, and then like I had a dream that I could really like do something with the moon with like what I did professionally, because that kind of like was really ruling my life. And then that dream came true, and then it was like, well, I really like want to like reach out to more beyond my community at my yoga studio here in town, and I want to be able to do more in the ether. And then now like that dream has come true, and there's been other dreams along the way, but it just feels so good now, like as I come back and I look at this birthday, and I'm in a 1 year. So I just turned 37, which is again 3 + 7 is 10. It's a master number 1, and I just feel very strongly that I'm in this like rebirth and I'm in this new beginning, and this is my chance. Like, it's my chance to practice what I preach, so to say, and like co-create my reality and really do what I want to do and live out of my joy. Because like I said, I don't plan this. I don't like make notes for this. This isn't hard work for me. I freaking love this. I love to get online and talk with people I know and people I don't know about the cosmos. I mean, that's so cool, right? And so yeah, I just feel really in my element, and I just want people to know that everybody can do this, that you all have the power to do this. We all have the power to create our reality and do what we want in life. And this world and this life doesn't rule us. We rule this world, and you can rule your own world. But you really have to step into that empowerment, and you have to take charge of that. And took me 9 years to get here, baby steps at a time, and one moon cycle and wishing at a time. And now I'm finally here. So let this be an inspiration. Let this be a powerful time for you all to also co-create your reality and really bring that in, and trust that you will get there over time. It's just kind of on the other side if you hold patience. Okay, so let's do our breath work, because that's another thing I love to do. I love to lead meditations and breath work. Speaking of things we do for joy. And the Samavriti pranayama can be done however you want. So just find some comfortable seat, lie down, whatever you want to do, and begin to just notice your breath. And I feel silly making these notes out loud, but I'm just going to say it. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you are driving and listening to this transmission and you want to tune in, you can focus on your breath with your eyes open. But if you are able to close your eyes, you might want to close your eyes as well. And just breathe. Feel your breath move in and out. Notice it. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to inhale and exhale to a count of 4. And I'm going to guide you through this for a few rounds, and then you'll do it on your own. And just understand that if that count of 4 doesn't serve you, or if the breath work doesn't serve you, you can modify or just stop, whatever works for you. You can always count a different number. You could keep your eyes open. But whenever you're ready, let's take a deep breath in together through the nose, out through the mouth. And continue breathing as you like, as you inhale for 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continue at your own rhythm, your own guidance, just a few more rounds. Maybe just one more round. And then just notice how you feel for a moment. And when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, blink them open. I hope you were still here. Did I cut out? Did I? Crap. I'm so sorry, guys. My battery thing came up and it cut me out. So did we start the breath work? Did you hear me start it? Okay. So let's just quickly do it again. I'm so sorry about that, guys. We're almost done here. So you can keep your eyes closed or open, but just inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And just continue at your own rhythm just a little longer. Maybe one more round. And then just relax for a moment and notice how you feel. And then blink your eyes open. If they're closed, feel free to let me know how you feel there. So focusing on our air element, because our air is out of our heart chakra. This is our air element, and our air moves through our throat, right? Both are really impacted right now with Libra energy, Mercury retrograde, all that fun stuff. And so we want to really make sure that we're breathing through our heart and breathing deeply and breathing in this rhythm. And when we do this, we stay really calm. And so this is a great breath work to use during this time of Libra season, Libra energy, or just any time that you need to create a little bit of peace for yourself. Just come back into a moment where you can balance your breath. Doesn't matter whether it's a count of 4 or 3 or 7 or just whatever works for you, but as long as you're creating that equal rhythm. And it can also just be without count. It could just be a feeling or a sensation of depth and intensity that you bring to the breath on both sides of it to stay balanced. So you don't have to overthink it right now, because this is a time when we can be overthinking too. So don't overthink your breath work. Let it bring peace to you, right? Okay, I think that's it. I have to giggle about this little blackout that we had just there on Mercury retrograde. That just seems to be the way right now with Zoom. I'm very curious to know how other Zooms are going right now in the world, because I'm sure that it's just crazy right now. So just a couple of announcements. We have our part 2 of our Moon Musings free 3-part online workshop, where I'm just teaching you about the moon and how it affects your energy. That is coming up next weekend. That one is going to be on the half moon. And then also we will be meeting again for our next virtual moon circle on Halloween. We're going to be meeting on the 31st on Halloween. I debated. I said, you know what? The world's weird right now, and we're going to do it on the full moon because that's when we should celebrate it. So I just invite you to join me for Halloween before our moon circle for the full moon in Taurus, the full blue moon in Taurus. We will talk about part 3 from the Moon Musings workshop, which will talk generically about the full moon. So if you saw my new moon workshop tonight before the circle, it'll be kind of like that, but just about the full moon. Real quick, I forgot to mention that this is a super moon, right? We're in a new super moon in Libra. The super moon just means that the moon is closer to the earth than a normal new moon. It means that our gravity is just extra strong earth side right now, and we might be feeling that energy. So you might be extra moody, you might be extra tired, you might be extra all over the place with your energy, just because gravity has really got us grounded down right now. So, use this to your advantage. Take time to rest, take time to honor your body, do meditation, do dream work. Don't let the energy be something you meet with resistance. Don't fight it. Just use it to your advantage and help yourself to relax. So with that, I think that we will seal our circle. So thank you so much for tuning in with me, whether you are here live or on the replay. I will see you either in our Moon Musings workshop or with the full moon on Halloween. Until then, sending you so many new moon blessings of co-creation. That dream life is coming. Trust in it. It's on its way to you. Namaste.